welcome to another video. Today I've got some new parts going on this thing for a change. I'm going to start doing the service. I haven't got everything to do it, but the car's obviously not going anywhere for a moment, so I'm going to change oil. I've got a sump gasket here that's for this one. Hopefully it's the right one, because I want to check when I drop the oil. I want to take the sump down, just make sure there's no timing chain guides or bits of it or anything in there that shouldn't be. Also, I want to check something underneath, because it's not uncommon, but some people have had two bolts come loose, and when the car starts you can hear it rattling away. So I just want to make sure that this one hasn't got anything loose, and if so, just do it up by half a turn. So I've got new oil, got my gasket, and in here should be my filter. I have got the fuel filter, but I'm not going to do it today. So there's my paper filter. So I've also got here, like I said, I've got the fuel filter, and I've got a set of brand new brake pads to go on, but I want to get the new discs and stuff as well before they go on, because I don't see the point in wasting a set of pads on old discs. So, right, so I'm going to crack the tools out. I'm going to get the sump undone, get the oil out rather, get the sump out, and let's have a look, see if there's anything in there that shouldn't be. Right, so upon inspection under here, all I've got to do is remove this under tray. I mean, luckily it's not going to be very hard because they're all crossheads. I'm glad I did get a sump gasket, to be honest, because I don't know if you can see it, but it is just a little bit wet around there. So, and it is all the way around. So I'm glad I'm changing it. So obviously I've got to get this. So I've got to get the heat shield down first, drain the oil out with an Allen key, and then we'll get this down. Luckily I ran it today, so it's a little bit warm. It's not going to be absolute scalding warm, but it's been left for an hour or two, so it's going to be interesting to see what the oil's actually like in this car, because it wasn't changed, I think, since 2017, if not before then, maybe 2016. But obviously it's been off the road for a lot of the time, so, and it's only had minimal journeys, so you've been spent most of the time left running on the driveway, so the oil has been able to circulate. But we'll we'll get this oil out and we'll have a look. Alright, so the buckets at the ready. Got me special canister. Get rid of the oil afterwards, so I'm going to uncrack this one. By the way, it's a HW6 Allen key if you wanted to know which one it is. I try and be more informative in these videos. I've just got to be very careful because I don't like the look of that. I'm going to put you down a minute just in case. It's alright, not too disastrous. It did go in the end. Right, so just drop that over there a minute. Make sure we're in line. It'd be murder if it goes over the drive. Let's get my ratchet back on that. So if I could spin it by hand once it broke free, but obviously not. See a little bit of dampness. Okay, this could be entertaining. Just make sure it doesn't go absolutely everywhere when it drops out. Take my ratchet off that now. I'm going to hold it up there for as long as I can whilst I undo it. Here we go. Hey! It's a bit black, I must admit. But no water came out before it, so I'm happy with that. Right, so I'm going to let that drain for a minute. I'll put the sump plug back in, only lightly, and then we'll get on to removing this under tray. And then we'll remove the sump and we'll have a look and see if there's anything in there that shouldn't be. Okay, so the sump plug's now in. I've only just left it like that just so no more oil comes out of it. I've dried it off to make sure that nothing comes out. I think the car definitely needed an oil change. I mean, that's quite a murky colour. So I'm glad I'm doing this. So now I'm going to take the plastic under tray off. I'm going to get that sump down. Right, so I've got some plastic sheeting down because this job is going to get really messy. So taking some precautions. So we're now going to drop this all the way around, and that should then reveal our sump. Okay, so that was a bit easier than expected. Next job is get this pan down. I've just had a look at the sump gasket. I don't know whether you will be able to see, but if I flip it over the right way, it definitely looks to be the one that belongs to this car. So lucky break those. That could have gone wrong. Right, so let's get this undone. Hey! There we go. Just what I didn't want. Okay. Yeah. Well, everybody, that's the sump down. Right, okay, so I've got the sump down, as you can see. Bit of a mess, but I'm hoping that when I lift this plastic up, there's no oil underneath it. I really hope so. So, I'm just going to get rid of the remaining of the oil that's dripping from the pickup here. And I'm gonna get rid of this sheet, put a fresh one down, and go from there. So there's our old gasket, many years old. Already cleaned the inside out. prep the surface underneath. So what I'll do now is I'll go around here with some 600 grit. Just gives it a better surface. And luckily the bolts are alright underneath, like I said earlier. I was looking at those. That's one clean sump. As I say, it's only a quick clean. As I say, I'm only redoing this just to flush it, and then probably less than 1,000 miles. I'll change it again. Fresh oil. Unfortunately, I am having to wait for something to set because the little piece that slides over here is broken. So hopefully that little repair should work. So I'm going to get on and get this done. Okay, so guys, this is the next day. I decided against trying to repair the little sleeve that slips over this piece here. I'll bring it closer to the camera. So I decided against using this here, and the plastic that goes over it, because it was cracked, and I was worried that if I tried to re-stick it back together or whatever, it could crack again. It's been in there for over 20 years, so I've decided that no, we're not going to use it. I have bought another one, so just in comparison to the two. This is our replacement. So as you can see, it's got its little black sleeve in, so I'm guessing the oil goes in the top here and flows out at the bottom here, and the little sensor inside gives you a reading. So like I said, I wasn't happy using that one, so we're going to switch this one over. I'm going to put the sump on, just do a quick clean around underneath, because I did put the sump back on with only minimal bolts, just so that loads of oil didn't end up everywhere. So yeah, we're going to change it over now. We're going to put, like I say, clean the surfaces up again, put the new gasket on, put it up on underneath, and just make sure that everything goes on. I'm not going to change this sensor until the sump is back up, so I don't risk damaging this again, because I think that's partly why that it split last time, is because I dropped the sump with the sensor still in it. I mean, I have done it before, but I think that it was just due to the age of it and how brittle the plastic was, is the reason why it broke. So even though it is a patent part, I would have liked to have used the original BMW part, but I wasn't gonna. I didn't see the sense in paying nearly £180 just for something like that. So I didn't. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. It's not a worry. So anyway, gonna get this cleaned up, get the new gasket on, get it up underneath, get this switched, get the oil back in it, change the filter first, get the oil back in it, and then we should see how it runs. So here is the replacement gasket. So we'll take it out of the packaging. That's a gasket. Will sit like that. Like I say, you can't get it wrong. It'll only go one way, due to the shape of the sump. And if you get it the wrong way, it's going away. Like I say, you can't. So here is the replacement. Now I'm gonna dry fit this, because it does recommend that it's dry fitted. So that is what I'm going to do. And the bag stops blowing over me. Okay, right, so now that's in place, I'm going to climb back underneath the car, get it up. I'm going to put the same 3 bolts in that I used to hold the sump overnight, and then we'll go around and put all the bolts in, and then, like I say, go back round, do a sequence just to make sure obviously it doesn't warp or doesn't sit incorrectly, and then we'll remove this sensor, change it for the new one, get it back in, and I'm going to see if I've got a socket to undo the oil filter housing, which I'm hoping I have. I should have. And we'll change the filter, fresh oil, and we shall see how it goes. There you go, I'm sort of happy with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bolt in each corner just to make sure that the gasket is sat where it should be. And I can obviously play around and give it a little bit of play just to make sure that we are sat in the right position. So all 4 corners are on. I'm going to run around, put all the bolts back in, tighten them up, and then say we're going to remove the sensor, change it, and then we're going to try and find a socket that will fit in my oil filter. Right, so that's all the bolts back in. Obviously, we're going to go around in the pattern now, tighten them all up. We're going to remove this because I have one little one under here I have to tighten up, but I'm going to make my life easier by removing the switch, or the sensor rather. So remove the sensor, tighten that up, get the rest of these all tightened up, replace that, and then we're going to try and get the oil filter housing open. Here we are, so now all the bolts are in place. I've got my 10mm and my ratchet, so I'm going to start doing these up. Okay, so tighten them all up. So I'm now going to drop this one out, which is, again, 10mm bolts, 3 of them. Pull it out, change it over, plug it back in, and then we're going to try, and I say try, to get the oil filter open. And then we can change the little paper filter inside, load it all back up, put the fresh oil in it, and see how she runs. What we seem to be looking at is, this is usual for car parts places, is in there, you've got that, which is your 3-pin, but the original one's got flat blades on it, whereas this one here has just got the tongs, and like I say, the bolt holes don't seem to line up. So I'm going to get on the phone to Motor Parts Factors, get a new one, a replacement, and get it sent out as quickly as I can. So I've just been on the phone to my lovely local motor factor. They're going to replace the switch. I've got to wait an hour before it turns up. I'm going to go down and make sure it's the right one before I decide I'm going to buy it. So obviously I have to exchange the old one. Yeah, hopefully then we can get on and actually try and finish this job today, because it's 2 days in the running now just to do a sump gasket and oil change. So we're going to have a hang around. I'm also going to try and find the right socket to undo the oil filter housing whilst I'm waiting. And once that's in, which we'll go down there and we'll go and find if we've got the right one this time. Okay, so I've borrowed a tool. I've decided, as with the oil switch, as it's on the ascender, that tells me if it's low, which is also what a dipstick's for. So I'm not gonna try and I'm not gonna replace it as yet, because like I said, I am only flushing the oil out of this. So now I've got that undone, unfortunately, I managed to break my phone mount. So I'll have to do this by handheld until I go out and get another one on my next trip out, which won't be very long. Now that I've managed to get it undone, somebody had done it up way too tight. As you can see, it's now loose, because I'm going to have to find a way of dealing with that. Right, so as we are now off, oh wow, okay. So I'm going to say that filter's a bit beyond its sell-by date. So what I'm going to do is just leave that in there a minute. I'm going to go and get the new one. I'm just going to check to make sure that's the right one as well, because it's probably not. Okay, so it looks like we're in a bit of luck. That looks like it's going to be the right one, fits it. So we'll remove the old one. I'm going to get my bucket at the ready to chuck it straight in. There it is, it's at the ready. What I'm going to do for a minute is just let the oil drip off that, because I don't want it absolutely everywhere. So bear with me 2 seconds whilst I throw it in the bucket and take it off. Okay, right, so the filter's now set in. I'm just going to very carefully wind that in. Sealed all in the right place. It still doesn't feel like it sits right. What is up with this thing? Okay, so just going to wind that on. Right, I'm going to say that it's done up enough, because it doesn't look like it's going to slip. We'll soon find out when we put the oil in it. Like I said, I'm not going to change the oil level switch at this point. I don't think it's going to cause any issues, but we shall soon find out. Right, okay, so I've now done up the sump sensor. I've plugged it in, and I'm going to top it up with oil. I've also checked all of the bolts that go around the sump, just to make sure that everything's tight and in place, which it is. So now I'm going to throw some oil in there and actually see if it starts leaking. Hopefully it doesn't, but we'll soon get to that. Let the residue run down to the bottom of that one and do a little top up in a minute. I'm just going to quickly check underneath, make sure there's no leakages. So far we look good. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly double check, just to make sure we're putting in exactly the right amount of oil, and I should be back with you in a moment. Right, okay, so I've done the checks underneath. We aren't leaking anywhere, including on the seal. Excuse me, I had got it running. So we've got no leaks around the little seal here. Underneath, excuse the noise, but the viscous fan is cut in. All under there looks dry as a bone, apart from the residue stuff that's been left from me working on it, obviously. I will replace that sensor. But what I am going to do off camera is I'm going to replace the pipe here, because we found a decent one in the garage with the thing broken. We already took it off, but as you can see, it's rather damaged. So we're going to put the new one on, just so it's got proper airflow. And I'm also going to fix this up properly, so it's not just sat loosely in the engine bay. And I think that's going to be it for this episode. Yeah, also, I'll just so I can show you, you'll have to excuse the pixelated dash. Life of a 7 Series. So, park lights, tail lights, front fog lamps, number plate light, reverse lights, washer fluid low. So yeah, we've got no warning of any oil. There's nothing on the dash that's telling me any different. We're set up nicely on the temperature. Also notice it's running a lot smoother than it was. It's a lot quieter as well, so it was definitely in need of that oil change. Okay, right, so I'm going to end the video there. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do your usual. Next episode, I will hopefully be trying to start doing the exhaust, as long as it doesn't go as badly as this episode has. Yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I shall catch you in the next episode.